Metal Gear Solid 4 Integral Podcast. Broadcasted from Konami HQ in downtown Tokyo, it's the world-renowned Metal Gear Solid 4 Integral Podcast.
Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to episode number 11 of the MGS4 Integral Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Icestone, and as always, I'm here with Aki Saito.
Hi everyone.
And producer, Ken Imaizu.
Hello. Hello guys.
Oh, everybody. Today is our last episode.
Yes!
No, finally. You said that the last time. I'm sad.
Yes! Final episode.
Yes.
Yes.
Finally.
That's horrible. No.
No, we're kidding.
No, but yeah, we're really glad that we made it to the end safely.
Well, that's what I meant.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah. Well, we wish we could do the all stage. We
Totally.
We just
Everything.
did everything we should. Yeah, we wanted to do that. We wish we could.
I mean, ideally, we would go from beginning to end every single stage.
No,
covered,
I don't think that's a good idea.
Okay, well, except for Aki. But
I think the listeners are sick and tired of listening to us, especially
maybe
these three guys.
He doesn't have love for metal.
Yes, I do. I'm just thinking about the listeners. We're like, Sean and me, Ken, talking all the time, 24 hours. Like,
shut up already.
Yeah. We should have done that.
Yeah,
We should've done
that's why we have the KP report with Kristen Kulu.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
That's
Beauty and
the Beast.
Beast.
That's true. But well, we did a lot, didn't we?
We did. Yeah, I mean, we didn't cover every single stage, but we went through all the different areas, and we picked out, I think, a lot of interesting areas, and in the middle we kind of jumped back and forth a little bit, which we're sorry about, but I think we managed to cover a good deal of material, and response has been good. So yeah, I think we did a good job.
That's good.
Okay, so today, for the final episode of our Integral Podcast, we'll do something a little bit special. And we've been building up all these comments on our page, email and all this kind of stuff. So I think we're going to read one from a very dedicated fan who's actually written to us several times.
Oh, okay.
This is from Sergio Oliva. Yes.
Oliva.
From Canada.
From Canada.
Yes. So Sergio says, I'm glad that you spoke about the sound in the Integral Podcast 8. The sound of the train station in Prague and the Resistance guy whistling. That was awesome information. That's the kind of information that I want to hear in these podcasts. The crew behind the greatest PS3 game there is.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you, Sergio. Great job, Mr. Sotaro, Kojima, and sound crew. I am an aspiring sound designer myself, and I admire the sound designer's work in Metal Gear Solid 4. I especially love the Octo-Camo sound.
Octo-Camo.
Octo-Camo, yeah.
Wow, he's a big fan of
Sotaro Kojima.
Yeah.
And so today, we're pleased to welcome our first guest. First and final guest on the Integral Podcast.
Yes.
So we have Mr. Sotaro Kojima, our sound director.
Yeah.
Here today.
Nice to meet everyone.
Welcome.
Hello, my name is Sotaro Kojima, sound director of Metal Gear Solid 4. I am very honored to be here.
Cool. Okay, so we don't call him Mr. Tajima.
Yeah, that's the thing. Kojima Productions, everybody has these nicknames, right? I mean, you're Aki. Well, Ken's Ken.
Yeah,
but,
true.
But yeah, everybody has these nicknames. And so Tojima-san is actually called Tojin.
Yes.
Tojin.
So we all call him Tojin.
Yeah. Anyways.
All right, so finally we have a guest.
Finally, okay.
Finally a guest on the Integral Podcast. Hey, by the way, Tojin, do you speak English?
Oh no, my English is not so good.
Okay.
But we overcome bad situation with using our sound technology.
Cheating.
Yeah. No, we can't say cheating. It's sound magic.
Magic.
Yes.
Magic cheating.
So we're going to use sound technology. So he's going to use his sound director magic. So for all the people listening right now, you're listening to, Tojin speaking in English, but, we're talking to him maybe in some other language.
So it's this sound magic, right?
Yes, it's the magic of sound.
Yes. He is really popular in the Japanese Hide-chan radio
That is
as well.
true.
He doesn't speak at all. His key is really known for laughing.
Really?
It's the Tojin laugh.
Oh, there it is.
All right.
All right, well, so I guess we'll move on with the interview. So first of all, okay, Tojin, you were the sound director on Metal Gear Solid 4. So how is it that you came to participate in Metal Gear Solid 4, and how long have you been with Kojima Productions?
Actually, I was a composer at Konami for some time.
Oh, really?
But I didn't join Kojima Production until MGS2. My first role was the scene where Ocelot tries to kill Snake and sink the tanker.
Yeah, I remember that. Very memorable scene. So what kind of relationship did you have with Mr. Kojima?
We worked together during post-production. And by coincidence, I learned that we were from the same hometown.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
So we kicked it off well.
Cool. So you did this podcast, and then you got into sound directing. So I guess, just for the people out there who may not know, what exactly does a sound director do?
Yeah, you really want to know. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't specifically know either. I mean, what do you do? What do you do, Toshi?
Basically, I convey Mr. Kojima's sound vision to the sound team.
Right. So it's like, talking to Mr. Kojima and getting his ideas and kind of coming up with all the details, right? That's basically what it is, like the specific plan for how the sound is going to be.
So he's going to kind of have to lay out kind of almost a blueprint of what everyone has in his mind.
Exactly.
And then lay it out on kind of paper or, for people to
kind of bring it
understand.
together into some kind of document so
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
can be on the same page, and know what they're doing. That's cool. And so you did all this sound stuff, and then, we're on the iPod right now in the game, and this actually was your idea as well, right?
Yes, that's right. Originally, it was an online sound player. But since Mr. Kojima is such a big Apple fan, we decided to go with iPod.
Well, that's true. I mean, even back then when we started the project, everyone had iPods,
Right,
iPod
right.
Touch. I think iPhone wasn't there at the time still.
Yeah, that was still back in the day of the video iPod.
Yeah, even maybe before that. Well,
Before that?
Yeah, when
Around?
when was this? It was definitely after the second gen or third gen iPod.
Right.
A lot of people were starting to get it. I mean, especially in Japan.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's a really cool thing because he has a music player, and it's a music player that probably a lot of listeners have. Like people are playing the game, they probably have an iPod, so something they can relate to. They can relate to Snake and his item in the game. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
So is there anything like that you in particular, really paid close attention to, and that you really put a lot of effort into?
Yes, actually, the song "The Best Is Yet to Come" in Shadow Moses.
Yeah. So that was really cool because we did work together a lot on that. Because it's kind of tricky because things you have these enemies, wandering around, and if you get spotted, how do you handle that? You don't want this song playing while people are shooting at you. So yeah, that was really a challenge. And
it's your stage, right?
Tojin, he gave us he gave us a lot of good advice on how to put that song in there and make it feel good, and scale back the enemies a little bit to make it just get that atmosphere perfect.
Wow, it seems like kind of a simple stage. A lot of people think Shadow Moses is the easiest stage,
Yeah,
right?
right,
Because
right.
there is already a base.
Right.
Listening to all this, the previous, Integral podcasts and the shows, I kind of find out I should play a little bit more and not skip through it.
And I think the thing with that is like because it existed already, like trying to reuse that same area is actually challenging.
I think I said this before, but a lot of people kind of, have good memories. You know what I'm trying to say? I mean, people expect a normal, natural upgrade.
Right.
But if you look at MGS1, if you look back, you see that it's technically not as high as
Totally.
today. But people expect that, right?
Right.
So it's quite difficult. But anyways, okay, other than Shadow Moses, but MGS4 in general, what's the sound concept that you had when you started creating sound for Metal Gear Solid 4?
My goal was to create movie quality level of immersion in the game's sound.
So,
Really have movie quality sound in the real-time game. So, is there any particular scene that you feel that, you really achieved this, deep sense of, movie-like immersion where you're really successful?
Yes, I think we did a really good job with the Middle Eastern battle scene.
oh, the actual start.
It's like, just that whole war zone
Yeah.
at the beginning. It's the Middle Eastern war zone.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Well, that was actually shocking, wasn't it?
So what techniques did you use to kind of create that really immersive sound for the war zone?
In addition to the background stream sound effect, we used what I call a Senjo stream.
Senjo stream. Senjo stream. So that's like that'd be a battlefield sound stream.
Yes.
Battlefield, Warzone.
Warzone sound stream.
So this goes on top of the
Right.
normal.
So you have your background and you have the sound effects, and then in addition to that, there's this special Warzone
Senjo streaming.
Senjo stream.
Yeah.
So what exactly is this Senjo stream?
Yeah. I mean,
You guys wanna hear it?
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Wow. Oh, that's some pretty extreme sound effects. Like listening to this right now, it's really impressive. I mean, it really sounds really good. But does this ever get in the way of the gameplay or anything like that? Having all this sound, explosions and gunshots and things like that.
Yes, but I was careful not to have gunshot too close to the player, so that it would not confuse the player.
Ah, okay. Wow, I didn't realize that.
you did?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Did you?
No, of course not.
I mean, yeah, it just sounds so natural. Just when you get into a fight, you just hear all these gunshots. I didn't realize that was, a completely separate track.
Well, I didn't know about the Senjo stream either. Yeah.
Normal game sound effects like da 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 dun, da 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 dun, da 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 dun don't have enough variation. So Senjo stream was added to create more realism, like dun da dun, da dun da dun, dun dun dun.
Okay, that's really cool. Yeah, because I think that's something that I think stands out also. Like even when we first had the first playable at TGS, after talking to people who had a chance to play it and they listened to it and played the game, I think that's something that everybody said. The sound of the Warzone.
Yeah, well, I
was really
remember
immersive.
we specifically try to highlight a lot of people to concentrate on the sound, so we set headphones.
Right.
Not a lot of Tokyo Game Show or E3 whatever don't really do that, right? But Tojin, I remember he insisted we have to have sound so that people could go into it
Yeah.
and feel the sound. And I guess it's right. He said that because he and his team did all this effort, right?
Yeah.
So, Tojin, what's your team like? I mean, Metal Gear Solid 4 sound team. Well, what's the team like?
It's a very talented team of about 10 people. It is divided into composers, sound designers, and sound programmers.
Cool. So yeah, you guys work really close with the programmers and scripters, and I remember this too, that you did actually go into the script and do things yourselves also, which is really cool. And I think that's why we're able to get that really immersive level of sound. Because the sound designers had like total control over everything, which is kind of unusual. Okay, so you got this internal sound team, which is really great. But I think a lot of people also, when they think of Metal Gear, they think of collaborations with these really big name composers like Harry Gregson Williams or like Christopher Boyes from Skywalker Ranch and things like that. So can you comment on that at all?
Yes, they are very talented professional. I was very honored to work with them. They really inspired me and the team.
I remember this part with Harry
Yeah.
and Tojin. We came up early. We came in early in the morning and did like video conference
Yeah.
with Harry in LA,
Of course, there's
Tojin
a
in Tokyo.
time difference, of course,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
that's really early in the morning.
Exactly. Yeah, I remember.
Okay, well, Tojin, it's a integral podcast, so I want to hear some tips. I mean, like, can you introduce a kind of a tune that you think that no one can find it?
Okay, in the Middle East,
Yeah.
right before the scene with Johnny in the ballet, you can get an iPod track by crawling under the wall on your left before you jump down from the collapsed building.
All right, everybody got that? So go ahead and look for that iPod track. All right, well, unfortunately, I think we're out of time for today.
Aww.
But, so Tojin, before we go, do you have anything else that you want to say to the fans out there before we sign off this final podcast?
since it is the last mission for our beloved Solid Snake. I just really would be happy if people could turn up the volume and listen to the game the way it was meant to be listened to.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Sojin.
That was Tojin, everybody. Let's give him a hand.
So I think we have to wrap this up. I want Tojin's laugh.
Okay. Yeah, by popular demand,
Huh.
we need the Tojin laugh.
I think everyone
Yeah,
wants to hear
I think
Tojin
so.
laugh.
Okay. Thank you.
Great.
Bye.
Thanks, Tojin. See ya. So since it's the last, integral podcast that's going to be in Metal Gear Solid 4, do you guys have any particular memories or, I mean, we had a lot of fun making the game and doing this podcast, and hope everybody had as much fun playing it and listening. So, but do you guys have anything in particular that really stands out as like a memorable moment?
Well, doing this podcast and knowing a lot of details about, a lot of things, I kind of take back my word that I don't like the stages you worked on. Which was Shadow
Thank you,
Moses.
Aki.
Right now, I'm playing at home again,
Okay.
Shadow Moses stage, and I'm kind of remembering everything you said and Ken said about, take a photo here
Right,
or
right.
sneak here.
Yeah, and his wife.
Yeah.
I think we cut that.
So it brings me, even myself doing the show brings me back, special memories of, we talked about this, or this is really cool. There's so much
Right,
effort
right.
here, and to me, it changed totally, the impression of even how I play the game, even as one of the people in the company, associated in this work.
Cool.
But I think people should kind of really listen to this and go back to their favorite stages, and you'll probably have a totally different view of it.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
What about you, Ken?
Me?
Yeah, MGS4.
Well,
you don't want to think about it?
It's a good memory, my 4 years since 2005. We started the Metal Gear Solid 4 project, and it was really tough project. We had so many problems, and some people might know, some people watched the making of video, and we had a problem, each like a month. We have huge problems.
Yes.
Yeah.
We gotta solve those problems, and just like we're running like full speed, like for 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people in the game industry, they have, crunch time. It felt like Metal Gear Solid 4 was crunch time all the time.
Full 4 years,
Yeah.
it's crunch time, and then we finally finished it. But then I look back this, Metal Gear Solid 4, and then check all details, one more time, and then I was kind of like, oh, it looks totally different. It's so beautiful.
Totally, yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean, because, when you're in there, it's kind of like that whole, you don't see the forest for the trees
Right.
kind of thing. You're so deep into making the game that you can't really step back and take a look at it. But yeah, now that it's been, about a year after we released it, going back and playing it, while we do this integral podcast, it's really nostalgic and brings back a lot of memories.
It's totally different.
And I can play it as a game,
Right.
rather than as a developer, which was a lot of fun. And for the final episode, I think we should just talk about things that maybe some secrets or tips maybe that maybe people may have missed, maybe like the bosses or just little secret things here and there. There's a lot of secret stuff in the game, and of course we can't cover it all. We tried going through all the stages, but we can't cover everything. And
What's the thing that we didn't say? I mean,
there's a lot of stuff that we didn't say.
I mean, the secret tips.
Oh, for example,
Yeah.
like getting through. Like, do you can collect figures of the bosses?
Figures.
Figures, like statues.
Like a statue figures.
In the Nomad,
In the Nomad.
you can give figures to Sunny.
Right. You defeat the boss
Yeah.
in some way.
Yeah.
And you can get the figure. statue at that stage.
Yeah.
Not the mask.
Not only.
Well,
that.
there is the mask also. So I think we never really explained that, how they can get this kind of
Right,
stuff.
right.
So
That would be good.
And it's something they can use throughout the entire game, because you can do it on any boss.
Right.
For the whenever there's the Beauty and the Beast and you fight them, of course it's Metal Gear, so you don't have to kill them. You can use non-lethal forms of combat. And of course there's a kill count in the game, and of course you can get through without killing anybody and things like that. And even more than that, the thing is with the beast form of the boss, even if you use your regular weapons, it won't count as a kill. But you still get something for using non-lethal combat on the beasts. And what that is you actually get a figure. So you fight the boss, right? And then you use some non-lethal form of combat, whether it's tranquilizers or whatever, and then you defeat them, and then after that the beauty battle starts, right?
Yeah.
They come out of the suit, and at that point, somewhere in the stage, there'll be a figure hidden somewhere. So if you look around,
And
you can
find
find
out.
like a statue of wolf or a statue of octopus. Yeah.
I didn't know.
And also, I think some people may have found those, maybe, for the beasts.
Yeah.
But there's also a statue for the Haven Troopers as well.
Where can you find it?
Do you remember the first Integral podcast where we were talking about Advent Palace?
Yeah.
Well, right after that, where our podcast left off, there's, of course, that battle with the Haven Troopers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you use non-lethal combat there, at the end, when you drop down to that basement area, that kind of parking garage area,
Yeah.
you can find a statue of the Haven Troopers there.
Well, that's a real tough one, isn't it? I mean,
It is pretty
the
tough.
first battle, right?
Mhm.
You don't expect to use tranquilizer guns and things like that. You want to mash through.
Yeah, it's a really good way to challenge yourself.
Right.
For people who beat it once, then they want to go back and collect all the items, or maybe try a different challenge. It's a really good thing to do. So
Not that hard though.
it depends.
Okay.
If you do it on like Big Boss Extreme or
Oh,
something.
be fine. No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so definitely for people who haven't gotten that, maybe give that a try using non-lethal combat on the bosses. So you do that with the beasts, you can get the figures, and then also on the beauties, there's some pretty cool things you can do with them as well. And I think a lot of people, they first get into the beauty battle. The first thing they do is they just start shooting.
Yeah.
They just kill the beauty. But of course you can put the beauties to sleep, and if you do that, you get face camo, which is really useful actually. Especially in like Eastern Europe. If you get laughing octopuses, laughing beauties, face camo, then you can get through Eastern Europe much more easily.
That's true.
Things like that. But there's another thing also, and this is something that I think is really hard to realize, because people know that maybe you shoot them or tranquilize them, but maybe people don't realize that if you let the timer run down, and there's no timer on the screen, so it's a little hard to know this.
Yeah.
But while you're fighting them in the regular stage, there's actually a timer running in the background. And if you let it run down, for about a minute or so, then it takes you to this white, kind of a pure
Yeah.
void where
Yeah.
you get to see the beauties in really nice shading, and you just get to admire the beauties there.
Yes, you have the 5-point sound
Right.
in full throttle there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
full sound, full shading, and of course you can use the camera there and get the beauties to pose for you, which is something that people may not have realized. So you can do that, and using the iPod,
Yeah. To certain music.
you can use the Tuhan Princess
Yeah.
soundtrack
Yeah.
and get them to dance,
Yeah.
which is really cool.
Yeah. We didn't cover all these, right?
No, we
Right.
didn't, because we didn't have time. But
But I'm
Now
sure
we're-
That's
people,
good to know.
yeah,
people, some core fans knew about this, but most people probably can't really figure out by themselves, right?
yeah. Watching people play, like I kind of, whenever I see somebody playing, I kind of like sneak up behind them and see how they're playing, and usually they kind of go to the beauty, and then they kind of like run around. Some of them start shooting right away. Other ones maybe they kind of wander around like, what am I supposed to do?
Right.
But then eventually they just say, oh, okay, I guess I'm just supposed to shoot or something, and then they go. So they never see that white void area, and then probably even those who see that white screen maybe never think to use the iPod
Or the camera.
or the
Yeah.
camera.
And the
things like
playing
that.
the Tuhan Princess music. Wow, that's a good tips.
Okay, a little bit of trivia, a little bit of final parting tips for everybody out there. And I think we're just about out of time for today, unfortunately. But we'll be continuing the Kojima Productions Report,
Yes.
our web podcast.
Yes.
And of course, me and Ken, Ken and Aki will show up from time to time. And we also have Christine there.
Female.
Girl. So you don't have to listen to a bunch of guys blabbering all the time. So yeah, definitely. This wraps it up for the in-game podcast, but please be sure to tune in to Hideo Blog and check out the Kojima Productions Report. And be sure to send us your mails because we still do check all of those and we will address your comments or questions on the air.
Cool.
All right. Well, any final parting words?
Okay, well, I guess Ken and I will try to appear in KP Report as often as possible
Yeah, totally.
to help you out
Please.
because it's really fun.
Yep.
And a lot of the listeners do really like Ken as well. So.
I think they like your voice too. You have that, smooth Aki voice.
Aki
yeah,
voice.
people recognize you even from the
People
keynote.
people like his voice because
My mellow voice,
Yeah,
okay,
it's very
thanks.
relaxing.
Okay, thanks.
somebody said your voice is so cool or something when you were doing a simultaneous translation.
in San
kind of
Francisco?
stuff. In San Francisco.
Yeah, well, my voice is the only popular thing I have. Ken.
Okay. Anyway, we're gonna have KP report, and we will continue to have some news for people.
Yes.
Yeah, and one thing, I'd like to mention one thing. From June 2nd to 4th, we're gonna be at E3.
E3 2009.
Yeah,
Yes.
E3 2009. And Kojima Production will have maybe big news announcement.
Surprise?
Surprise.
Nice.
Wow.
So please looking forward to it. So
Cool.
yeah, and I think what I'm trying to do is I wanted to do the KP report podcast with video when we're in E3.
Nice.
Video podcast.
Video
Sounds cool.
podcast.
Yeah.
So we're gonna, following, Sean and Aki and
Oh, no,
taking it, behind the stage and kind of stuff. So that would be really, really cool.
That sounds like fun.
Well, we're
Yeah,
gonna
sounds like
film
fun.
each
Yeah.
other when we wake up and when we have dinner.
Oh,
and things
yeah.
like that. Oh, that'll be awesome. That'll be awesome. Well, anyways,
Okay.
and this is gonna continue like this forever, right?
Right.
And the KP report.
For all eternity.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Come on, Sean. Wrap it up.
Okay, well, everybody, we'll see you on the KP report. Till then, this is Sean and Aki and Ken saying goodbye and thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.